I see him using his phone, but I can't recognize any of the apps on his phone.
I can't understand that.
As soon as I saw it. What did this country do to me? I started to think like this. I'm not sure what to do because it's my first time.
Are you feeling strange? Yes.
I see. You're feeling strange because it's your first time with the procedure. Just keep talking like you are now. It's okay to feel strange because it's your first time with the procedure.
Hello, nice to meet you. It's North Korea's Love Room, North Korea.
I am the host of a channel called Kang Seonbihan Yangsal. Yes, today I gathered my old friends from where I used to live.
How long has it been since you started YouTube?
Yes, YouTube.
Not only has it not been long since you started running the channel, but you also haven't been in Korea for long, right?
I have. In December 2019.
I left North Korea and arrived in South Korea in May 2020.
So you came here when the corona was at its peak.
I just
entered South Korea.
From then on,
The defense against corona is
getting more serious.
some people are entering the country.
It's hard, so I
Could not come to South Korea if I hesitate.
I was late to adapt.
So, when I talked with him today, I was shocked. My middle school was called a homework school back then. And it's still called that way.
Called Doyle Middle School.
I was there for about 3 months, and I was surprised when you mentioned that school.
It's the school our mother cursed at. I heard you graduated from there and worked in information technology.
Korea, also known as the Republic of Korea, is a country that has made significant advancements in information technology. I came here.
I was curious about how you felt working in that field when you came here.
Actually, with South Korea and North Korea's technical.
The gap is too big, isn't it?
I'm feeling fresh.
Even if I don't talk about it, that part is obvious.
Just like that.
As a person who worked in information technology,
How much in this era was treated and in South Korea
Came to follow and learn the process of.
If I explain.
I think the test takers will understand.
Me too.
I studied hard when I was in college, and I even participated in a programming competition when I was 19 or so.
SBC.
That's impressive. Up until then,
I wasn't too overwhelmed.
But after graduating from college, what I was doing had nothing to do with information technology.
If you basically go into a research institute in North Korea, they make you do a lot of the same work.
in one word, it's the process of looking at the programs that others have developed and copying them. The process of how the code works by tracing it back.
That's how you make the code.
Windows is generally,
Not based on open source code.
so that's why the process of going back and coding again.
But this is such a frustrating thing that a developer can't feel like a limit.
So I couldn't enjoy it, and I did a little bit.
That work.
I quit, and so
Took some pictures.
edited the video.
I started doing such things.
Yes, even in North Korea.
I studied hard without falling behind.
Bet.
As I was learning the technique, I went to China to break through,
At that exact moment,
When I first crossed over, there was a broker who was a bit over 60 years old.
that person took me.
through such a process.
He did that, but
He was using his phone, but when I saw the apps on his phone, I couldn't recognize any of them.
really seriously?
Wow, that's amazing. I was about 30 years old at that time.
And I was in information technology.
I was concerned after retiring from the field.
You would have been proud and worried.
When I lived in North Korea, I thought this country did nothing to harm me. But when I saw it, I thought, what the hell did this country do to me?
I learned about such technology in information technology itself, just as it is.
Everything else is just routine.
There's nothing beyond what's been written.
Yes, it is.
It's not that you're burdensome.
This country is
In the end, what did you do to me? Such thoughts.
come to mind.
I learned the basics of the internet from that person who is over 60 years old.
So explaining about the app and such, like this.
Is this what you're saying? A person who learned information technology in North Korea? Yes.
Yes. I'm really shocked.
Yes?
I was really shocked.
And now it seems so obvious.
But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they're all too similar.
And then there's cacao, navet, it's just endless.
All revolving around the smartphone.
That's something you can't really separate. At first, I used it for about a month in China.
And it was too much.
The internet world has expanded so much that it's really hard to adapt.
Difficult. In North Korea,
What I can do with my phone these days is play a lot of games.
gaming.
I like the quality in its own way.
Why, you ask?
Rather than developing games, it's about bringing in games that have already been developed overseas.
The person who buys it is blocking the text.
Or it's a field that the country's trying to control, so how can they freely just take the original Android package file, change a few characters, and release it under their own country's name?
Do it.
People in North Korea who are into information technology are now making money from mobile.
All over the country.
Selling that to mobile users nationwide is somewhat the only way they can make a living in that country.
Hundreds of games are released every month. And now even North Korea is said to be playing mobile games on their phones.
Actually, how does...
When we look at it, we can see that there has been progress. But now that you're here, you must be even more surprised. Because from a North Korean perspective, it's strong.
Progress, isn't it?
It's tremendous progress and quite a surprise. North Korean phones don't have global positioning systems, so basically they do very limited things.
And the internet?
Since there is no internet itself, the network is set up in North Korea.
Data transmission.
The speed is too slow.
That's why.
So that you can get a signal within that, such as a cell phone.
The mind is composed, not in that state.
Even when I came to Korea, the hardest thing was finding my way.
I guess I should use a navigation app and I'll get used to it.
Basically, I use it. I tried it, so I guess.
I always carry my phone around and don't have such a thing as a phone.
I put it on. I was taking the bus, and just before that, I went to the information center and asked them to drop it off. And after a while, I'll open it again and go in like this and see. Too much.
It's hard, and it's hard to use public transportation. Stuck in the train and walking around and whatnot, it doesn't catch well, like this, flapping my arms.
While I'm spinning around.
Why do my friends say that?
They just laugh it off.
It's really the first time.
How?
But what I really want to say to our citizens one more time is,
when we say it's a high school, it's really a place where tasks pile up, but this task is now overwhelming.
It's burdensome.
The task is overwhelming, and I feel like such a fool. It seems like I've been fooled.
But that is...
A fool needs about 3 years to realize that he's been fooled.
I think once you go through that process, from what I've seen on YouTube, you're really good at it. Is this really what you did so well, so quickly?
I know, I did.
Wedding.
I've been planning weddings for several years, so...
I've done a lot of things like videos.
And I've been involved in North Korea.
Right?
Yes, wedding.
I did something like a wedding production, so I could handle that.
At least.
When I came here and saw it, I realized that my knowledge of the camera and lens I used was too vast, and I didn't know that.
And
I got into YouTube, studied really hard, and I'm still doing it. But this...
I really like that the internet-based world provides an environment where you can learn anything if you set your mind to it.
Novel. I don't know.
There's nothing I don't know, and why people are so kind to me as if they know something, really.
North Korean person?
From a standard point of view, it doesn't make money, so why do they explain so well and too much?
Amazing.
Of course. There are things like questions and answers to them.
If you don't know something, you can just search for it. So these days, you can even search for everything in text on Naver.
YouTube is easy to follow these days because they create and upload everything as videos. I get a lot of good information, and I watch YouTube.
I learn a lot.
Whether it's general knowledge, culture, information technology, or managing YouTube, I share all the information there.
I am... Are we entering a wired generation? It's somewhat depressing if so.
I can do it. No, why do you say that? I am.
The player is a bit comfortable.
And the video is...
It's easy to watch and well-structured, but if you go to YouTube to find completely professional knowledge, it's a bit poor.
That's right.
I was introduced to it yesterday, and it was impressive.
Really, in terms of information technology, there's so much I want to learn and do here. Don't you have things you want to do?
In fact,
when I was in North Korea.
Basic information technology was called program solving, which stands for program solving.
Which is called program solving.
Should it be done?
Is that some kind of algorithm?
I've studied a lot about material structure. That is...
Really? I studied very hard. And when I came here, my biggest concern was about my career. I guess so.
How can I do well what I've already done before?
I must write it down and execute it.
Is it possible, or I have to do something? I have a job now. I've been all over the construction and computer science.
I'm doing something like office work.
Do I have to keep going this way for stability?
Such worries.
I have a lot of them. Like when I was in North Korea, I had something like a dream.
Mike.
If it's about skills, national level, class, such a fool, like.
I had confidence, but
The people here, when I see you, it's too much.
You have a one-of-a-kind personality. Simply put, you're unique. And you really seem so ordinary.
even though you may seem like an ordinary person.
There is a world where they are immersed, and in that field they are a veteran. This.
Whether it's an educational platform or something like YouTube, I've only been exposed to it for a few months, but with these things, as long as a person has a hobby and a desire, they can quickly learn about that field.
So I really came there, looked a little, and thought I should talk about a book I really know wherever I go.
What I've learned in the few months prior, and this type of new thing.
I knew, but how much do you people who have lived here know?
Too much. You
don't have, I'm curious.
About the battle.
I'm trying again, but I'm too sympathetic. I thought I was good at Korean in school, but the only thing I really got a full 100 points in was,
It was Korean. Or writing.
I thought I was really good at making sentences and doing things like this in Korean, but when I came here, I didn't get any punctuation or anything. To that extent, Mom, I was a fool. And it's just seeing the characters. For example, if you say déjà vu, you know the word déjà vu, but you don't know what it means, even if you say it's a foreign language now. It's the same with Korean. There's too much you don't know.
That's right, linguistic problems too. I learned again.
I'm 70 years old.
Since I've lived, I have this sense of duty. It's quite significant, and in the process of conveying it linguistically like this,
I'm in the north.
even when I was in the north, I watched a lot of South Korean dramas.
I watched a lot and then
I've been watching South Korean dramas continuously since 2006, and I had a lot of South Korean books at home.
in North Korea, it's just
I had the books as portable document format files, but that was about 100%. United States and South Korea.
book, but
I can't quite read English as it is.
that's in Korean.
There were quite a lot of translations.
So South Korea,
I was very confident in my knowledge, whether it was about culture or other topics.
you've been there a lot.
If you read a book, it's about South Korea.
You read a lot of books.
I read a lot, but I still came here without preparation.
But I was most shocked by one thing.
If you come to Hanawan, they allow you to use the internet, so
I
Use the internet.
in real time.
I visited a venue that streams live broadcasts, games, and African television.
And I saw
About 80% of the words coming out there were words I didn't know. It was a game broadcast, something similar to a game broadcast.
Anyway, communicating with people, the BJ is.
It's a broadcast where you communicate like this. When I went in, I immediately felt that this is no longer a public bath. I have such thoughts.
originally it has the communicative nature of language, and it's attached to categories like race.
But it's too hard to understand. I think about how hard it would be for people who are as old as me, and that shock still feels like it's too hard to understand. Older people are actually okay. Or it's unexpected. In cases like our mother, we used a language that was common in our generation, as everyone knows. It was similar in the 60s. The language was okay back then. But the hardest generation is now from the early 20s to the late 30s. They don't have a sense of empathy.
Because they didn't live in the same era, they lived in a completely different era, so that's why it's hard.
For example, when I just mentioned a singer's name, there are singers that those in their 30s like the most prefer, and so on.
There's a song.
You see, the cultural space is also very different, so that's why we feel this sense of alienation from the culture.
The difference is significant. It's big.
If it becomes a point, the hardest part is probably the diet and culture for 10 years.
You need to have at least... It's a really difficult problem that needs to be solved. I've written that I am a channel of empathy. I've passed the time of 10 years as a channel of empathy, and I can't go on without passing that time. Really, later on, we play the role of unity. We say we play the role of a guide.
But if something similar doesn't happen with other people, it doesn't work, it seems difficult, it's really a problem that needs time to solve, and we need to empathize a lot with other people.
Here, I see many people who came here a long time ago and tried to learn
to meet and do so.
Those who haven't changed are still the same people.
When I see those people,
I can't get rid of this mindset, and I worry if I will just grow old like this.
But what should I say? Meeting an old friend was the best part, I think.
Why? Because I think receiving such a profound shock was the best thing for me.
First of all, the moment I see this, I wonder, what is this? Why is it like this? Should I accept this, or should I just live being overwhelmed, as you said earlier?
There is a process of choosing this, but when I see it, I think you will definitely choose it positively.
In society, we have to live. Don't be serious. If not, there's nothing but a struggle, but you're doing well.
This may seem funny to you that I'm acting my age after turning 30, but if you knew my age, you'd know that it's been tough since my 30s. See?
That's why.
Something new?
It's a time when the mind closes to accepting something new. That's why...
In their 20s.
People in their 20s tend to adjust well to this. But I found that from my 30s onwards, my worldview or mindset becomes more conservative and rigid, and it hasn't changed much yet. So I still have that very conservative North Korean mindset.
I can empathize with the struggle, but crossing the line of complete equality is a situation that...
I don't understand the part that I don't understand.
I need to understand and learn it.
Which is quite...
A lot, but I'm not there yet.
It's something I hear often and felt the same way about.
I've been living here for 16 years, but I only started meeting my old friends for the past 3 years.
Before, I was lonely even when I cried. After such loneliness, I began to understand societal norms, culture, and preferences. To engage with society, I realized I needed to learn how to do it.
I need to establish common ground for conversation.
But It's really hard if you don't know what I'm talking about.
If you ask why I need such a time as 10 years, it's because things change so fast these days. Like the river has changed twice in that 10 years. That's how fast it is.
That era.
I have to experience it with young people to some extent to have a sense of empathy that fits that era.
So,
time is needed. This is 30 years I received from North Korea.
That's called a generation?
30 years is overwhelming. I've received several decades, but it's still a lot to take in.
What shocked me when I came to South Korea was that they solve all problems with a democratic approach.
That kind of thing.
You know, when it comes to politics, the person who is right
is the person who is said to be bad.
Alternatively,
arguing and splitting in half.
There are things like this.
I understand that a family that is constantly fighting is heading in that direction. But when I see that, I wonder if it's right for it to be pulled out completely, even if it's a sacrifice for some kind of national sentiment in a moment of such a unilateral outbreak.
I think this is...
What I learned from the North is that I tried not to learn the bad things from North Korean society, but I discovered...
It's scary. It's too scary for my body.
But it's really the first time?
It's really touching
that you've made such a discovery. I'm not sure if I can completely fix this, but I'll try to repair it with a lot of advice.
And while trying hard.
If I can't fix it, it's hard to leave it and go, but I want to give it my best shot. When we really meet our favorite people, I do a lot of cheering.
I might be doing a lot of this right now, but right now it's just a strategy.
I have to do it.
What Mr. Jung-hyuk just said is exactly that. Why do I have this?
If I keep doing that, I can immediately see a subjective perspective that is clearly like that.
So you don't have to be too humble, and you don't have to be too self-deprecating either.
You've reached the stage where you discover you have something like this. I applaud you for that, seriously.
Of viewing is the problem, something like that.
I'm looking at it this way right now. It's not easy to see myself.
I'm going to work hard to adapt in something.
You've reached that stage, myself.
Through the process of having South Korean policy, I've gained a lot of insight and really tremendous changes.
The air is fresh.
If we can't adapt to the new era, we'll be extinct like dinosaurs.
Living in North Korea?
North Korean defectors struggle to adapt to life in South Korea. I mentioned that I haven't met my old friends for a while, right? When I meet them, they ask me how old I am, so I tell them my age, honestly. That's how the conversation goes. When I meet my old friends, they ask me why I'm like that, not in a condescending way, but they ask me how old I am in South Korea.
So, that it's called Hanlim. Should I call it out?
If I now look at the story that the North Korean defectors gather and talk about Jang Hyuk, if he does it at that age, it's now 8 months, 9 months old.
I couldn't do it.
I haven't even had a first birthday party yet.
At 8 months, babies typically begin attempting to stand and take their first steps.
Those kinds of things.
If done well, a better future will open up.
But when I see you today, you look so beautiful. It's my first time. What is this? I just bring that out and wonder why I'm doing this. What is this? I appreciate meeting someone who has such a mindset for the first time.
So, our applicants, even though the arrival period is still short and they are experiencing a really serious quarantine, they are still undaunted and have opened YouTube like this. Is there a special reason why you opened YouTube?
The reason? Because my channel has grown. If I make money, that's good. This is my ambition.
The most amazing thing about watching YouTube is that anyone can speak freely.
Think a lot on YouTube is reflected. I saw.
In fact, I had a prejudice against defectors until I defected, something like a failure, a loser.
Like this.
I had a bad opinion, but in the end, when I defected, I became one of those criminals.
That's right. But
seeing one by one those who break through are really great people, and I, as a breakthrough citizen, am saying this.
You've all gathered together.
To be honest, I have a girlfriend.
Like this, doing everything.
I really came through without any trouble, but not a single broker
Came without any.
When I hear that I went as a North Korean defector, I think those people are too mental or something, and their mentality is strong and admirable. And if I say a word about them personally, it's like a curse.
I don't do that.
I've said everything.
There are people who view it negatively when they see such posts and comments.
There are many, and I am my...
Let me show you my voice once. I think it's really good. My channel is growing. Not more than 150 people.
Are there?
I've seen that channel, and if our viewers go to the channel once, they'll probably know. Different.
Activists.
They're talking about areas that other activists don't talk about, so the concept is good, and the content is somehow fresh. I feel like this...
I heard we...
Supporters, new YouTubers, and even those who might become my juniors in North Korea, please support them a lot, and I ask for your continued interest and love.
50,000 subscribers are
not something anyone can achieve.
The excitement is already
building up.
Mom,
I'm a beginner. There are many YouTubers who are better than me. Mom,
what on earth is that?
Where is the end of ambition?
So, rather than swearing, that's just now, in my case, first with words.
Since I was told one.
Baljakuk, I went to Baljakuk, but our petitioners pulled it out. YouTube is not something I do alone. There must be a viewer, right?
So because our viewers who love and cherish our subscribers are here, I came here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you
for coming, Dong-young.
Please give a lot of love to YouTube as well. I'm really thankful that you're with me today. Thank you, thank you.